name is Wang Yunjong. I'm working at the SK group, the SUPEX Council. SUPEX means they're super excellent. So my company is aiming and pursuing the not just excellence, beyond excellence. So that's our company's objective. So today I'm very pleased, and first of all, I really would like to congratulate the very successful the panel of a social enterprise in the course of a Beijingporum. The subject I'm talking on is a proposal for a social value-based incentive system. It's kind of a the element, and could be a very important policy tool for developing the ecosystem for social economy and social enterprise. Actually, this concept and basic concept was invented by the chairman of SK Group, and then the presentation material, actually production of the presentation material is made by the Junso Lee, my colleague. Let me start with the dark side of the social enterprise ecosystem. That is a current situation in most of the developing countries, including Korea. I'm thinking about why this kind of situation is persisting and widespread in the world. So my observation is that one of the main causes that limits the development and vitalization of the social enterprise sector and ecosystem would be a missing link between the financial values or economic values and social values created by the social enterprise. Please look at the picture. You can see the two sides. In the left-hand side, you can see the social enterprise. That is a company producing some goods and services, at the same time creating the social values. But such companies, particularly the entrepreneurs, are very busy in getting the money and getting some charity funds. And sometimes there are a lot of regulations. So the entrepreneurs are so busy in focusing on creating the social values. So very hard to focus on creating the social values, even though the mission of a social enterprise is to maximize and increase the social values. But in the right-hand side, you can see the financial investors, so-called, in terms of social economy and social enterprise, we call the impact investors and social finance sector. But those guys are also very hard to find very attractive target companies, target social enterprise for impact investment, given some structure of return and risk profiles. The reason is very simple. In the ordinary market, we see some close link because everything is priced in the market. But in this sector, in the social enterprise sector, even though companies are selling goods and services, it's marketable goods, but social value is not properly measured in the market. It's a very complicated issue. In the morning session, we discussed a lot about how to measure the social values. There is no universal agreement on measuring the social values. And at the same time, there is the market. Actually, my friend, Mr. Do Myung, is now a consulting company to provide the assessment of a social impact, but there are very few clients who buy such kind of consulting services. So there is no market actually for measuring the social values. So there is we call the missing market for social values. Given this kind of missing link between the financial values and social values, we don't have a good, system. So we must link the missing link. We must fill the missing link. That's the reason why I make some proposal for the better ecosystem for social enterprise. As all of you know the mission of a social enterprise, I think there are two missions. To have the financial values to sustain the company without the handsome money of the charity funds. We need to sustain the business. But at the same time, we must to maximize, and we must to, not maximize actually, we must to try to increase the social values. That is the more important mission than the financial mission. In the market, but we can measure the financial values with using the accounting practices. But having said that, the social value is not measured, and there is no one size fits all standard for measuring the social values. I spent more than 30-year economics profession, so I'm very much familiar with the economics. But probably some of you will took the Econ 101, but if you didn't take the Econ 101, probably my presentation will be a little bit difficult. But I just assume that you took the Econ 101, it's basic course for economics. So I assume that the social enterprise producing two types of goods. One good is a private goods. Private good is marketable, it's tradable in the market. But at the same time, the social enterprise is producing the public good. Public good means that the government provided the public stuff to the citizen, but it's not marketable, it's not tradable. For-profit company try to maximize the financial value, even though that kind of the mission and the objective is very hard to achieve. But anyway, in economics, we just assume that for-profit companies try to maximize their financial values and corporate value. But non-profit organization or not-for-profit companies try to maximize the social values. But for social enterprise has two missions. So try to find the balance between the financial values for sustainability and at the same time increase the social values. So I assume that for social enterprise, try to maximize the utility. I mean the indifference cover. So utility between the financial values and social values. You can see the diagram. In the vertical line, you can see the social values. In the horizontal line, you can see the financial values. So financial value means the monetized value of the private good, marketable goods. And in the vertical line, social values, you can see the monetized value of a public good produced by the social enterprise. NPO, non-profit organization, or not-for-profit company, try to maximize the social value. So you can see the NPO pointer, the blue dot. That is the point to finally, the not-for-profit company is trying to maximize. In the vertical line, you can see the for-profit companies' optimal point, because that's the the objective function to maximize the only financial values. But social enterprise have two missions: try to find the balance between the social values and financial values. So the company has an indifference card between the financial and social values. So optimal point is A. Between at some point, social enterprise find the optimal point between the financial values and social values. So Econ 101 explains this diagram. So I'm very sorry. So before I just move on to my proposal, and actually Chairman Chen's proposal, I would like to go back to some economic backgrounds of this concept. One of the famous economists, the British economist, the Peel, Arthur Peel, at Cambridge University, he just invented the concept of the public goods, and in the market, you can see the insufficient supply of public goods. It's very different from the private goods, because unlike the private goods traded in the market, social value or the public good is not sufficiently provided in the market, through the market. So that is called the externality issue and market failure. So the Professor La in the morning session also emphasized this concept of externality in designing and developing the measurement issues. So Peel just suggests how to correct this kind of a situation and market failure. So Peel invents the concept of Pigouvian subsidy. Economic incentives like corrective taxes or subsidies can be applied to the market activity and non-market activities. So, if so, economic incentives are well designed, we can correct the problems. And so that is the key concept. If we have some externality and market failure, we always face the misallocation of the resources. So if we just correct the misallocation of resources, then we can have a better, optimal solutions. That is the concept of Pigouvian subsidy. I just borrowed that concept, the Pigouvian subsidy concept, to our social enterprise ecosystem. If we just have such kind of incentive scheme going to the social enterprise sector for social values, then probably we can have an optimal point, optimal allocation of between the public goods and private goods. So we just have a concept that is SPC, Social Progress Credit. It's a good word. So this concept can be applied to many, many sectors. That's the reason why we do not use the grant or cash. Social progress has a meaning of social development for humanity. But the credit means that it can be used as for tax credit and tax relief, and also it can be used for the cash grant. So it's a more applicable concept. So we just use this social progress credit for a better incentive scheme for social enterprise. If we just introduce this concept, social progress credit, into the market, into the ecosystem of social enterprise, we can make a bridge, fill the missing link between the financial values and social values. And hopefully, it will offer sufficient amount of incentives to have social enterprise to find the optimal level of financial and social values, and provide the price for social values and create the market for social values. For practical application, we need to have some principles of social credit. So there are 3 principles. The measurement standard that monetizes social values must be established in advance. That's the reason why the measurement is so important for monetizing the social values. And SPC should be provided in proportion to social values generated by social enterprise. So that is not input-based scheme. It's based on output-based and outcome-based incentives. And SPC can be designed in various ways, reflecting the circumstances that each society faces. You can see the next diagram. When you have any incentive scheme, we have just an optimal point at A. So there is some shadow price between the financial and social values. But if we have some monetized scheme to monetize the social value, then we have the bridge, fill the missing link between the financial and social values. Then we can move from A to A prime. Then you can find the increase of social value. So, but at the same time, that kind of social progress credit, the company, social enterprise, can sell that credit to the market or use the cash grant through the government. Then he can enjoy the more financial values. It is why enjoying the more amount of the social values. So we can see the SPC line. Next, in the previous diagram, it just shows the static analysis, it's a comparative statistics, because just the price line shift from the flat line to much steeper line. Then we can see the different solution and the movement of resource allocation. But we can also imagine there's some dynamics. If the company, social enterprise, have incentives to change the business practice and try to innovate the business model, then we can see the increase of both financial values and social values. So the company can produce the more amount of public goods and private goods. So that is such an incentive system, and social value based incentive is working in the market. Finally, you can see the link between the social enterprise and impact investors with the social value based incentive scheme. It may be a long way to go to make such kind of the link between two sectors, but if we have just more discussion and then gather the new ideas on this humble proposal, then probably in some days we might have a very close ties between the social enterprise and impact investors and have a better ecosystem for our sector. Thank you.